Are you prepared for what I'm about to ask you?
I've never been less prepared in my life, Emma Rose.
Really? What about the fires? Were you prepared for them?
No, Emma Rose, I wasn't adequately prepared for the fires.
What happened?
What happened on
Yes.
February the 7th?
Yeah, what happened?
I was actually working at home inside. It was really hot. We didn't anticipate there were going to be fires coming to Kinglake. We had heard that there was a fire near Kinmore, but we thought that was far enough away not to be an issue for us. So up until about probably 1 or 2 o'clock, we weren't really very worried about it at all. We had cleaned up around our property and put away some leaves and tried to make the place as safe as we could. But yeah, we were basically being inside because it was really, really hot.
So, like, how did you get prepared?
Well, I think one of the things that happened was our neighbour came up and said that he was worried about the fires, a much older guy than us, and he was saying he'd seen weather like this before, and so probably about from 2 o'clock on we really did try to make absolutely final our preparations. Like we got some sand out and put around the base of our windows. We got towels that we made really wet to put under our doors, and we tried to seal off every part of our house to try and keep a fire out if a fire came. But yeah, we probably did it in far too much of a rush. It would have been better to have been prepared earlier in the week. We got a phone call from a friend of ours, a woman who was pregnant, and went around to her place, to see if they were alright, and also because we felt with little kids in the house it would be much easier if there was a bunch of parents to work together. And we ended up at their place when the fire came through. So our house was completely unprotected, but we didn't escape either, we didn't flee.
What were your feelings during the fire?
It came so quickly. We'd only just got inside the door at Anna and Will's house where we were when the fires came through, and the fire came through. So everything had gone black, and there was incredible amounts of embers and debris and lots of things hitting the house. The house was just being peppered. We were looking out the window across an open paddock, and all we could see was red embers absolutely everywhere. So yeah, it was really scary, but also kind of beautiful as well. I'd never seen anything like that. I don't really remember being scared because there was so much to do. We had to be constantly active to keep the fire out of the house. The house where we were, they had plastic tanks, and within a minute of the fire coming, the tanks had all melted and the water had all evaporated. So we only had a little bit of water in the bottom of the bath that we could use to fight the fire. So we had to use towels and pyjamas and whatever else we could find to try and put the fire out every time it breached the house and started to burn part of the building.
Did this experience bring you closer to your friends and family?
Yes, it makes it really obvious how quickly you could lose people in this kind of scenario, and I think the experience of working with Anna and Will in their house to keep the fire away from us will stay with us for the rest of our lives. Yeah, I think that's very true, and particularly given so many people that we know lost family members in the fires, we can see that we were very, very lucky.
Did you lose any family or friends?
Lots of friends, but no direct family members. Yeah. Like there was something like 150 people killed across our area, so we had people, good friends from our street and good friends from other parts of town.
What would you say to people if another fire came? What would you say to people to get them prepared to save their lives?
I think there is an advantage of having more than 2 adults in the house, so particularly if you live in a house bigger than a cottage, there's a lot to protect, and you need people to be able to work together in order to just survive or shelter, let alone to save the house itself. So yeah, it's a lot of work, it requires a lot of effort. I don't think we really anticipated a fire quite as ferocious as the one that came through. We'd never thought about a fire so big or so fast, and certainly it was beyond any of our completely. And I think we'll also have to encourage people to think about what are some of the causes of fire, and not just the local causes but also the global causes. With Australia being such a dry country, the more the atmosphere dries out and heats up, so the longer drought and the more climate change we experience, the more vulnerable we are to fire. So, you know, it makes living anywhere near forested areas or grassland areas potentially dangerous, and particularly in the southeast of Australia.
What's your opinion on the people who helped us?
Oh, the people have been incredible. We've had people from Tasmania came and helped us, particularly on our house, and they just came over with a truck full of stuff. My uncle came down from Queensland and helped us, and he was remarkable. He was with us for a couple of weeks, and then he went and helped a local plumber put septics and all sorts of systems so that people can have toilets again when they move back onto their properties. Certainly volunteers have come up, people have donated goods, people have been absolutely wonderful. It's in some ways a lot of people wouldn't have heard of our area before, and you know, getting national and international press coverage I think ensured that, you know, people are now starting to own the disaster as well. So, you know, by making a contribution towards the recovery, that gives us a sense of responsibility that we do a good job with rebuilding our community and supporting our people and our wildlife.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Tell me the true reason behind you getting that white stripe in your hair. Was it to make you look more like a skunk?
No, more like a badger.
Badger? Okay.
I smell like a skunk.
Okay. If you were a tree, what would you say to people?
Well, if I was a tree in King Lake, I'd probably say, stop cutting all my friends down.